What if I told you you could build more muscle, recover faster, and sleep better simply by sitting in front of a light for 20 minutes a day? I used to think this was crazy, but after working with elite athletes such as Liverpool defender Kostas Tsimikas, American wrestler Kyle Dake, as well as CrossFit Masters champion Jason Grubb, I've realized that there's a tool that they use that is extremely accessible for everyone. Since then, I have worked with thousands of people who aren't trying to be elite athletes, but are still active, from busy moms to businessmen who are still trying to work out and maintain a good physique. So in this video, I'm going to show you the real reason why your recovery is slow and why it's more important than training hard, how red light therapy can be used to speed up recovery, build more muscle, lose more fat, and sleep better, the best time of day to do red light therapy according to what goal you're trying to achieve, and then I'm going to give you a performance pack of protocols. After this, we will cover some common mistakes that would ruin the results you get when using red light therapy. Then we'll talk about which other tools can be combined with red light therapy and which ones would actually reduce its benefits. And at the end of this video, I will tell you the exact red light therapy device that I use for boosting my performance and why I've chosen this one. Have you ever used your cell phone and you're using it for Google Maps, you're streaming music, and you've got 20 different Chrome tabs open? You notice that the battery depletes very quickly. Now, the same thing happens with the way that many people approach their training. They forget to take the time to recharge. Now, at the heart of recovery is energy. When most of us think about recovery, we think about doing nothing, but it's a very active process. Recovery is building more muscle, it's healing damaged tissues, it's even removing fat cells. So we need to give our cells more energy. And the way to do this is to power up the mitochondria within your cells. Now, how do you do this? One of the best ways to boost the mitochondrial function in your cells is with red and near-infrared light. Now, this is not magic. It's simply biology. If you can remember when you were a kid, maybe you heard that sunlight made plants grow. And I remember when I heard this, I thought, this was crazy. I had no idea, how is sunlight growing plants? But then when I got to high school, I learned about photosynthesis. And now I fully understood it. It's not as exciting, but it makes sense. Well, all that red light therapy is doing is using the most dominant frequencies of sunlight. So imagine that the sun is having an all-you-can-eat buffet. And each of the different colors of light are the different dishes at this buffet. And attending this event is all the body functions that you have. So we have vitamin D synthesis with his golden brown tan. We have Mr. Bone Health and his wife, circadian rhythms. And they're all lining up to eat at this buffet. But right in the front of this line is Sir Mitochondria. Since mitochondrial function is one of the most important processes that happen in your body, it basically got to choose which dish to eat at the sunlight buffet. And by no coincidence, it chose the most dominant frequencies that we get from sunlight, red and near-infrared light. Now, when your cells have more energy, there's various different things that they can do. This study showed a 3 times faster muscle recovery when people used red light therapy. This study over here showed a 75% improvement in melatonin, your sleep hormone. And this study showed a 4 times greater increase in muscle growth when someone used red light therapy versus their twin brother who didn't. So depending on what your main goals are, the time of day that you do your red light therapy sessions will differ. Now, I don't think you're going to walk away from this video and just have one time that you will always use. I personally will switch it up according to what my goals are. Sometimes I will do all of the protocols, but most of the time I'm trying to figure out, do I want more muscle recovery? Do I want to boost my testosterone? Or am I trying to build more muscle? So if you are trying to boost muscle recovery, then your sessions should be within 1 hour after your training session, targeting the specific muscles that you trained. If you are a man and you want to boost your testosterone, then you should be doing a morning session. This article over here covers Ben Greenfield and how he used red light therapy to triple his testosterone. Our testes are an area where most men aren't getting enough natural light, so a morning session here is a great idea. And if you want to boost your sleep quality, then you want to do a red light therapy session 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. So what do these different protocols look like? When you want to boost your muscle recovery, you should be doing a session for 8 minutes, 6 to 8 inches away, aimed at the muscles that you've just trained. For testosterone, this one is nice and short. You don't have to get the light to penetrate very deeply. So a morning session only needs to be 3 minutes, 8 to 12 inches away. If you want to boost your sleep quality, then it's really important that you cover large surface areas, such as your face, your chest, and your back. You want to do a 7-minute session, and that should be 6 to 8 inches away. And as we said earlier, it should be 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. Now you have the recipe to boost your performance. And let's say that is the recipe to making a cake. Now, if you run off and you start making a cake and instead of sugar, you use salt, you're not going to get a great result. So let's make sure that you use the right ingredients. The first problem you might run into is if you use the wrong red light therapy device. Now, this is kind of like taking the recipes, you start making the cake batter, and then instead of putting it in the oven, you put it on the pan. Now, a red light therapy device, for it to boost your performance, it needs to have a strong enough light intensity with true light measurements. So I've done a video up here, which you can check out to find out more about the light intensity of red light therapy products. But then you also want to look for a device that uses both red and near-infrared light. Ideally, it should be using 630 nanometers, 660 nanometers, and 850 nanometers. The second problem you might run into is if you stand too far away from your red light therapy device. This would be like trying to bake the cake while it's outside the oven. As the protocol said earlier, there's specific distances, and if you're too far away, the light intensity will drop off. So make sure when you're following a protocol to stick to the recommended distance. The third common mistake when using red light therapy for performance is not being consistent. I wish that the first red light therapy session everyone did was just amazing, but there is an adaptation period. Your body needs to get used to using more red and near-infrared light, and what you will find is the results actually get better with time. So maybe you will get some kind of improvements from the first few sessions, but really after 2-3 weeks, this is where the most results come from. Now, if you're looking to boost your performance, you're probably not just looking at red light therapy. Now, some of these tools are really good to use with red light therapy, but some can actually hamper your results. So let's start with a good thing that you could combine with red light therapy. Breathing techniques and meditation are a great thing to do in front of your red light therapy device. They're really good at calming down your nervous system, which will help you with recovery. Something you must be very aware of if you're trying to use red light therapy for recovery is not to do cold exposure before your red light therapy session. I've done another video, which I will link up here, that talks about red light therapy and cold exposure. Both of these are great in isolation, but what we've seen in clinical studies is that if you do the cold exposure first, it constricts your blood vessels, and as a result, you're not able to use the red and infrared light as effectively. Now, the product that I use is the MyLight Pro device. It's this one over here. It's a really large panel, and I use it with a floor stand. The main reason that I use this one is because it's got light intensity measurements that are measured with a spectrometer. It's not an overestimated light intensity measurement as most other companies will offer. And since it covers such a large surface area, I find it really good for helping to improve my sleep quality. If I sit in front of this device, I can target my face and my full chest. I can reverse over and do my back. And because I can cover a large surface area, this saves me a lot of time. Now, if you are on a bit more of a budget, you can look at one of the smaller panels, so you could look at the MyLight Midi or MyLight Max, and I'll leave a link to all three of these panels in the description of this video. Now, over the last 5 years of working with thousands of people with red light therapy, I've had a lot of lessons that I needed to learn along the way, and recently I put together a video where I covered the 30 lessons that I wish I knew right in the beginning. So you can go and check it out here. Honestly, this is the best video I think I've ever made on red light therapy. It'll teach you all the things that you need in order to get results, and I wish it's something that I was able to see 5 years ago. If you have any questions from today's video, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure that you hit the subscribe button somewhere down over here to make sure that you see notifications as soon as we release future videos.